hard to get data that investors want that we have for you. Number one, emails of vacant scatter lot owners with road frontage, flat topography, and lake waterfront. Two, real estate agents that sold more than one new construction last year, but not too many because they have relationships with independent builders, which you can dispo vacant land to for top dollar. Number three, property managers and real estate attorneys that have relationships with big portfolio owners who'd refer them to you when they're ready to sell. Four, homes on double lots that can be flipped for break even, then make $80,000 by splitting off that second lot. Five, input your 40 previous deals, reverse engineer the property and consumer data using AI to generate a list of 10,000 leads that are likely distressed sellers and pay $800 for that. Six, emergency list of rundown houses identified by AI to fill the gaps in your Q1 marketing efforts. Seven, top performing real estate agents ordered by their listings in the last 2 years with LinkedIn profiles so you can build context to close deals. As people are diving into DealMachine's data, I'm really enjoying hearing what's most valuable to you. So I pose this question: if I could wave a magic wand and solve any data issue in your business, what would that be? I'm going to dive into a few of these that we can pull right now in your DealMachine account. There's a few of these that you can't pull because we haven't built the filter, but we have so much of the data behind the scenes. I've been pulling this data. As long as you're an active DealMachine customer, tell me below. And if it's one of the items that you can't pull in the filters today, I'll go ahead and get it to you within your export limit of your existing account. So number one is emails of vacant scatter lots with road frontage, flat topography, and lake waterfront. So here's how you could do this today. Let's take one of these counties. Let's look at Hall County, Georgia. I know there's a lake here. Let's go to Travis County. Looking at Hall County, Georgia. We still have the vacant land filter. We got 8,000 properties here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to topography and we'll do level grade. Let's see what these properties look. 13. Okay, so they're all like right by the lake, so they're probably not level grade. So we'll back that off. It's a little bit too restrictive for our case here, but we do want to make sure it has road frontage. So one thing I know is they build sewers under roads. So we don't have a road frontage filter yet, but you could actually filter down the properties a bit by just looking for a municipal sewer. So that filters it down to 3,000 properties. Then what you could do is you could say, please find properties that have a lake waterfront. And it will look at the satellite imagery of that. And it costs $62. It's 2 cents per property because the AI that we're using has a hard cost. As AI prices come down, so will the cost of doing this through DealMachine. But notice how we filtered the county, the vacant land, and municipal sewer prior to using AI to identify waterfront properties. And again, it's going to do that based on the satellite imagery. So once we do that, I'll show you what the list looks like, and it'll cost $62. I actually pulled this for a user the other day, although I think I cleaned it out. Let's take a look at what the result is that I emailed that user yesterday. I cleaned it out of my account because I actually use my account for marketing, and I don't want marketing to go out to Hall County, Georgia. I invest in Indianapolis. So Hall County, Georgia, 3,100 properties with the sewers. So let's open it up and see how many properties came back here and what this export looked like. So I actually exported it by contact. So you'll see here associated property address, Sportsman Club, Whipperpool Lane, and then there's 2 lines for 2789 Northeast Point. That's because there's 2 different contacts associated with ownership. We got Muhammad, so we have phone numbers for each of them, and they live in Atlanta, Georgia. They speak Arabic. You can filter by language. It's very accurate. They are married. Their net asset value is $2 million or more. They're in management, business, and finance, and they're both business owners. There's several of their emails, and they're on the do not call list, but when you're making a strict offer to purchase, that is not selling something. So I typically will call those. And I have landline usage as well. There you go. So that is exactly the export, and 125 met this criteria of having lakefront with a sewer, meaning road. We'll use that as a proxy for road. So let's go on to the next one on our list, which was real estate agents that sold more than one new construction in the last year, but not too many, because they have relationships with independent builders, which you can dispo vacant land to for top dollar. So I was actually able to pull that list for a customer. And if you guys have a DealMachine account, I'm happy to pull this behind the scenes data for you. Just let me know in the comments that you want it. Number 2 here is what we're talking about. And let me show you what that looks like. So I put a Google Drive together, and I found in one of these counties, 294 realtors that actually had sold new construction. So here's Evelyn. She's the top of her game. She sold 57 new construction builds last year. So then we've got going down the list, 16, 8. There was somebody that made like over 100, and I was like, no, that's probably a realtor that represents a tract home builder. So they're probably not going to be the type of realtor we want to network with, because the independent builders, once you sell them a piece of land or 2 or 3, they want a discount. And as investors wholesaling vacant land, we want to make top dollar for our land. So we want to build relationships with realtors that represent independent builders, because that's who you can dispo your land to. So I'll kind of like throw out the really top performers and then go look here. And so again, you can't pull this list of realtors in DealMachine yet. I filtered by new construction, not looking at all their listings, just the new construction listings here. But if you want this list and you're a current DealMachine subscriber, let me know below you want it. I'm happy to pull it for you in the meantime as we make it available within the app. So let's look at number 3, property managers and also real estate attorneys. So this is a pretty advanced strategy for somebody who's doing like 50 plus deals a year. And now they want to build relationships with basically, like, if somebody has a large real estate portfolio, they're going to have a trusted advisor, a real estate attorney. They're also going to have a property manager. And when they're 80 and they just want to sell their portfolio, they may not like list it all, because that's kind of a hassle, like list 80 properties, do all those tours, etc. They may just ask their attorney, like, hey, do you know someone reliable that I could just sell my whole portfolio to, that's not going to be a pain in the butt and just also give me a fair price? So that's when you want to get mentioned. So a lot of people had me pull lists of property managers and real estate attorneys. And I was able to do the property managers pretty reliably. I was not able to do the real estate attorneys quite yet. I didn't figure out how to filter that data reliably quite yet. But the property managers, here's what that looked like. And I was sending this to my buddy Noah in Indianapolis. And so here we go. I got him 128 property management companies. All right. And here we go. This is their actual business name. And Leasing Experts and Property Management Incorporated. Higher Heights Property Management, GGB Property Management, Cutter Property Management, Alpine Property Management. So funny. Alpine Property Management is the company who hosted a meetup every month. Brittany Wicks would come from Texas, fly to Indianapolis, come to buy 30 homes per month at the auction sale. And she'd also run a meetup while she was there to educate new wholesalers. And they told all the wholesalers exactly what they would pay all in for like a 3-2 in this zip code, $77,000 all in. So if you're looking at that sheet and you're a brand new wholesaler, you don't know what to offer people. This was so helpful, is I could actually be like, well, I know Brittany will pay 77 all in. So let me subtract 10,000 for my fee. Let me subtract the repair costs. And now I know what I can actually offer people. So Brittany Wicks, I don't think she runs that meetup anymore, but she was buying homes for Alpine Property Management, because they'd fix them up and then they would sell them turnkey and then turn around and manage them. So just a little story about Alpine there. Thank you guys for the education early on. So Johns Lewis is mentioned multiple times. And the reason is because they've probably got different people. And by the way, here's like their registry info for different companies. Well, I guess you could just search it here. That's what that means. Okay, so back here, it shows their street number, and then it also shows the person, right? So we got Thurman, Tiquan, Desmond, Jasmine, and we got their street name. We have their previous address where they used to live. We got their emails, and we also have phone numbers. Phone 1, we got phone usage, phone 2, whether it's wireless or not, phone 3. So again, here's property managers. Didn't quite get the real estate attorneys, but I know that's an important one that I'm going to work on. So let's go to number 4, homes on double lots that can be flipped for break even and then make $80,000 profit by splitting off the second lot. So I've gotten pretty good at this. So let's go look back at Hall County, Georgia, clear all those filters. So now we got 86,000 properties. The first thing we want to do is we are looking for a single family home that we can renovate, and 63,000 is what came back. So now what we want to do is look for those double lots. And there's a couple of ways to do it. I'm also looking at the legal description. So we could say, does this county just use the word lots? And no, they do not. Okay, some will just use the word lots. Let's see if they use the word LTS. They don't use that either. So this one is stumping me. Let's take a look at how their legal descriptions are written. Lot number, there's no lot number. Lot number 144, lot 144, lot 20. So I think the issue here is I'm looking inside of like a very rural area. So usually in rural areas, they don't like have separate lots that people combine. I think it's more of a thing in a big city. So let's jump over to a city. Let's look at Austin, Texas, where I'm at. Get rid of Hall, Georgia. Now let's look again. So we got single family selected, and let's go back to the legal description and say contains lots. letting it load here. 1708. All right, so just for like cohesiveness, let me go back to Hall County, Georgia. Yeah. So before, be careful with these filters. So before, it wasn't working because I put equal to lots. And of course, the whole thing is going to include more than lots. So that's never going to come back with anything. But if we do contains any of lots, LOTS, now we have 538. And if we can get a sample here on the right of the ones selected. So let me show you what this looks like. Lots 4 and 5. That's right. So most counties are putting lots, LOTS, in the legal description, and they're putting 4 and 5 when they're combined. So that's a quick way to filter and find them. Now, there are a few counties, if that doesn't come back with anything, that abbreviate it LTS. So if yours doesn't come back with anything when you search legal description lots, try LTS. This one is even 3 lots. So here's what we could do next. So one of the things with double lots is if they combine 2 lots and build one house right in the middle of it, you can't necessarily split one off. And so for that reason, I like to go ahead and add some more filters about the size. So I'll do lot acres is greater than 0.35 acre. And also I will do square foot living area is less than 2,200. So that narrowed it down to 314. Now let's spot check a few of these again. Of course, there's outliers, but 0.35 acre is literally kind of the minimum size lot I'm seeing that would be big enough to split. So let's pull this open in Google Maps and see if they show the exact lot lines. Yeah, see, look, see how big this one is? And this one's like totally vacant, by the way. I don't even see a house on it. So it's funny. I did have single family selected. So maybe there's one at one time and it got taken down. But let's look at this one as well and open this up on Google Maps. You guys didn't know you could do that, did you? You click on the address, click open in Google Map. Pretty good trick. So here it is. And you could see here, this one I would say is splittable because if you look at the space from here to here, it's definitely at least as wide as this lot over here. So I would say that is splittable. It is on a bit of a slope, so may have to take a closer look at that. But again, this county definitely uses the topography level grade. Not too many are level grade because it's a pretty hilly area. There you go. But that being said, you could definitely build a house on that slope. So a lot of times it's cool to play around with the filters to see and kind of hone it in. That's how I figured out the lot size and the living area square foot. So I think that's enough on that one. You guys have seen enough. Let's look at homes on double lots. It could be flipped for, oh yeah. So the one more thing I was going to say about this fourth one is you could also do like condition of the house in 2 different ways. Building condition is poor, unsound. Let's see what comes back there. 5. Okay. So this one may not have a high population rate, but always, you could also look at distressed properties right here. And you want to use this exact prompt because we tell it to look at the satellite and the street view images. If you try to write your own prompt, it might not do that. And then it would cost 2 cents per property. We got 314 narrowed down, so not too expensive to pay for the compute power for AI to go and do that. So that concludes number 4, finding those double lots that could be flipped for break even and make $80,000 profit. Look at 5. Input your 40 previous deals and reverse engineer property and consumer data with AI to generate a list of 10,000 lead lists likely distressed for $800. So people pay like $11,000 for quarterly data. That's premium data. And I'm telling you, this is more than what they're analyzing on the consumer and the property side. But you could get it for much cheaper by having the AI do the analysis for you. So that's why we're able to do that. And I understand sometimes big business owners, they just pay $11,000 because they want it done by a concierge. They don't want to fiddle around in the details of AI and property filters. But if you're the type of person that wants to save $10,000, then I'm going to show you here. So here's what you do. You look at Hall, Georgia, because that's just where we're at. You probably have a buyer's box criteria. For me in Indianapolis, I don't really want to touch something that's worth less than $77,000 in perfect condition because there's not enough meat on the bone to actually do that deal. And I know in Indianapolis, anything over $300,000 is just going to be out of my wheelhouse. So you want to add as many filters like this as possible so that you're not paying to analyze properties that would never meet your buyer's criteria. That's how you want to use the AI. So now in Hall, Georgia, we've got it narrowed down to 11,000 properties. And so the next thing you want to do is attach example properties. You can attach example properties to help the AI understand your search. So I don't invest in Hall County, Georgia, but maybe I should just do this whole thing over in Indianapolis. That's what I'm going to do because I would actually use this data. And I've done my actual deals in Indianapolis and Carmel. So adding these 2 counties together, and this is still single family and my price range, perfect. We're going to add some of my past deals. So before the properties like show up, you need need to add them to your list. So that's what I'm going to do first. So here we go. You need to put your past deals in your DealMachine account. I'm going to do that right now. Oh shoot, it was already added. Jenny Lane. Maybe I didn't spell it right. 412 Jenny Lane. Ah, there it is. All right, so there's one. Now I'm going to add more of my properties. 7132 Grandview. And I'm asking my engineer right now, I said, when I input my past deals to have AI look at it, does it look at the past owner's info, even though I bought it 7 years ago? I don't want to reverse engineer my own info. Okay, so it's searching leads. So I think I need to add this one, 7132 Grandview Drive. Yep, add this lead. And then I also have 7114 Grandview Drive. And then 6490 Parker Avenue. I think the more deals you can input, the better. All right, so now that I've added these properties, and look, the recent ones that I just added are the first on the list, which is super nice. So good job, engineers. You designed that well. You can only attach 3 example properties. So in order to analyze all of Indianapolis and Carmel, that would cost $3,000. So I don't necessarily want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and narrow it down some more. So number of bedrooms, I really like 3 2s. So I'm going to do 3 2s and narrow that down. And so I don't have to spend as much on the big AI lift there. Now it's down to 14,000 properties, and it would cost $289 to get this premium data here. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Let's look at building condition. Poor, unsound, average, fair. We don't want any excellent looking buildings, I don't think. So pretty much all of them met this category. So let's see which one was the big category most of them are in. Fair. Maybe average would be the biggest one. That would make sense. Yeah, fair. Let's see what happens when we remove average. Okay, now it really narrows down to 1,800 properties. And I think I'm going to put the average ones back in there because 1,800 properties isn't like that big of a list. But I really want to see what AI does to analyze this data. The whole point of using the AI to analyze the data is so that you spend some on the data, but you overall get more deals for less expensive marketing. So if you're sending direct mail, it's 50 cents a property to send that rather than 2 cents per property to analyze it. So I really do want to see what it comes back with when I analyze this. So we'll come back to that in a second, but once that list gets going, it'll actually show us some of those properties. And that's 5 is input your 40 previous deals. And I know I can only input 3, but for Paul Myers, you know, he was one of those guys that came and he was like, could you really give me this output for $800? And we built a special prompt for him. So if you guys are here and you want to spend that money to have the analysis done, I know Dave, my engineer and business partner, he actually built a custom prompt based on his 40 properties. So we didn't do it in the interface. It's one of those things we can do behind the scenes for you. If you're interested, just let me know. Number 6 is an emergency list of rundown properties identified by AI to fill the gaps in your Q1 marketing efforts. So if you guys have data that you pull every quarter and it didn't perform as well this quarter, you might be looking for like a high response rate list that you could do some additional marketing to before the quarter closes so that it looks good on your books. So let me show you guys how to do that. By the way, the AI is still starting here. So I'm going to open a new window. What I would do is I would go to filter it down a very similar way, Indianapolis, and you just do distressed properties. That's going to cost $7,000. So you want to narrow it down a little bit. Again, 77,000 to, there you go. And I like to have a 3-2. So narrowing it down to that same 14,000 lists again. And then you would use the distressed property one, specifically looking for signs of distress. Whereas the other filter we did, it's actually looking for properties similar to my past deals. Property characteristics, it's also looking at the person who owns it and their consumer behavior, credit card utilization, debt utilization, etc. So that's the difference between the two queries if you were wondering. And so that brings us to the next one, top performing real estate agents ordered by listings last year with their LinkedIn profiles. So there's a really popular method called agent outreach. Some businesses are built exclusively on relationships with agents. And the whole idea is that you spend traditional wholesaling, you spend money to go reach a homeowner. You spend a lot of time building a great relationship. They end up selling you their house, but then you'll never ever do business with them again because now they've moved on and they're not going to be in another situation like that most likely. So with agents, you could build relationships with, and if they come across a house that's like needing to sell much faster than it would would take the agent to like list it, or if the house is not in good condition and the seller doesn't want to put the money into fixing problems before an agent would list it to a retail home buyer that would need it in perfect condition to qualify for a loan, the agent will try to refer it to a home buyer or somebody that can just buy it as is. And so that's exactly why you'd want to build relationships with agents. In order to build relationships with them, you need to know their contact info, their emails, and LinkedIn can help too to see what's going on in their lives. So that's not something you could pull in DealMachine yet, but if you want it and you're a DealMachine customer, I'll pull it for you. I could do it behind the scenes, and here's what it looks like. I actually pulled this for my buddy Ronnie from Simple Quarters in Indianapolis, and he really thought this was super helpful. And this is what that list looks like. I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. This is not Carmel. This is actually just Indianapolis, by the way, but it looks like Cassie had 184 listings in the last 2 years. Aaron had 183. And so you could see where they live. You could see their previous address, how long they lived there, email, phone number, phone provider, and if it's a landline or wireless, how much they use it in the last 12 months. We got some second and third phone numbers as well. How many children are present in their household? Do they have any pets? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, there's the emails. I was mentioning those earlier. So lots of consumer data here, and then their LinkedIn profile, so you could actually see what's going on, connect with them there. This one looks like, hold on a second. I'm gonna go back here. That one may have been a bad example. Yeah, Aaron Hundley, realtor. Let's go to number 3, Shelby Farrer. And if they don't have a LinkedIn, it may bring back somebody else. And so that's what I'm actually trying to find is agents that are on LinkedIn. Oh, I think when I ran this for him, I had it look for Arizona. And that's why I was like, wait, why is that guy from Arizona? So I'm gonna rerun this for my buddy Ronnie, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like. All right, so you can see my script running here as I pull the new LinkedIn. So let's just check, let's just spot check a few of these. And I know that selected a few different things. Aaron Hundley, oh no, I selected the wrong link. So let me just grab a bunch of these here and let me put them in the notes app. Let's look up Rodney Guard. Hey, well, that's him. It's not his LinkedIn, but it is him. He must not have a LinkedIn and then had another top result in Google. It basically just looks for the top result in Google when you search for the name and the state of Indiana and realtor, right? So that's how the script works that I am using behind the scenes to pull this for you guys. And so let me look at another one. So pull up the notes app. There we go. There's the right one. So let me go spot check like a few more. And then once this is done, I'll have to email Ronnie to let him know. He's a cardiovascular specialist. Maybe that's not the right, let's see. Maybe that one wasn't perfect. I guess Chris Price is a very common name. Barbara Whiteside, real estate broker and listing agent. So there you go. There's 7 hard to find bits of data that real estate investors want, and they just don't know where to find it, that we could provide it for you. So if it's in the DealMachine app, hope that helped. You guys can use your existing account to pull that. But if it was one of the numbers that we couldn't pull in the DealMachine app right now, let me know in the comments which one that you want. I'm happy to pull that behind the scenes data for you guys as part of your subscription that you already have. And again, let me know the answer to that magic question. If I could wave a magic wand and solve any data problem in your business, what would it be?